Thank you, James. We get set as Team Canada looks to clinch Group A tonight in a matchup with the opening day shutout winners as they face back-to-back world champion silver medalist Switzerland, led by that man, Patrick Fisher, and of course, Roman Josi. 4-0 winners in their first game. In that game, Leonardo Giannone became the oldest goaltender to post a shutout at age 38, but it is Akira Schmid tonight in a backup role to face the high-powered Team Canada offense, Mike.
I think Kevin said it well. This game will feel different than the Czech game. It'll be faster, be more up and down. Swiss don't play a trapping defensive style. Canada will have to re-engage their legs and the pace to their game to be able to control the play like they did in game one.
Prior to coming over here, Roman Josi told me that this team believes that they can win. They've been on the cusp of the last two World Championships, but there is a different level of belief in Switzerland. Good to see the powder blue is here in the crowd, although it does sound 60-40-ish in favor of the neighboring Swiss. Once again, the captains will face off. Sidney Crosby against Nico Hischier. We're underway. Timo Meier is on the ice. He scored a pair of goals in that 4-0 Swiss win over France. Comes around to the far side. Kevin Fiala on the ice, and there is a hit on Mitch Marner, kept in by Hischier. And out comes Team Canada. A bump pass ahead by Devon Taves, missed the mark. They'll stack up along the line and reclaimed there by Crosby. Lost it momentarily, and Mitch Marner's going to get control. Here comes Mark Stone, a goal scorer in the opening game, sending that across the goal mouth. Crosby along the boards, and out come fresh legs. Brandon Hagel's on the ice. Stone turns back, heads to the bench as Theodore sends that.
That was a post?
Off the glove. Wow.
Canada thinks that was in. The bench is calling for it.
I thought it was in from this angle, too.
Oh, we'll hear the buzzer go if it was.
And it looks like Schmid is really uncomfortable back there. Banned on the shot, and then had trouble stick handling the puck. Here's Colton Parayko. No horn yet. A battle there as Nathan MacKinnon tries to create some space. MacKinnon chops at it. There's Nick Suzuki, and out breaks 3-on-1. It's Dennis Malkin across. Dino Niederreiter and Logan Thompson with a highlight reel save. A minute 26 in. Welcome to the Olympics.
3-on-1 turns into a 2-on-0, and Logan Thompson goes snow angel. That's after this wrister goes post and down, no goal. Schmid waves at it, misses it badly, but bailed out by his post. And this is why you can't get caught up ice against Switzerland. They can beat you back up, and Niederreiter overthinks that. He tries to go 5-hole. He could have just walked it to the open side.
A.J. Moser sends it wide. There's Calvin Turcoff, who started the first game on the top line with Hischier and Fiala. Moves on to a line with Philip Kurashev and Hugh Suter. Here's Tom Wilson, and Connor McDavid fires it in, and there's a glove stop that should help settle down Akira Schmid.
Best seat in the house once again. This game is going to be lightning quick, back and forth they go. I'm curious to see Switzerland tries to get Pia Suter, a very good defensive forward, out against Connor McDavid as much as possible. We heard the panel talk about how great Connor McDavid was in game one. The entire game, the shots, the assists. You know Switzerland's going to try to game plan for him, which might involve a lot of Pia Suter.
That face-off won by Team Canada, but the puck comes out to center ice. Gil Makar out there. Bo Horvat. Sam Bennett is on the wing. That glove down and played in behind the net by Sam Reinhart. Taves moves up. They'll crash along the boards. Four-man board battle. Pulled away by Horvat, who scored a beauty in the opener. They listed Bennett as the extra forward here, but he's out on this line, and yet to see Seth Jarvis make his Olympic debut. J.J. Moser ahead. That off a stick and chopped away by Makar. Here's Marner sending it back in. Roman Josi on it. Sidney Crosby was taken down.
It was a big-time hold-up by Liat.
Berchi sends it around. Josi up the boards, kept in momentarily by Crosby. And now coming back to play it is Parayko. Colton Parayko with a different partner. Shea Theodore moves into Josh Morrissey's spot. And Travis Sanheim will be the extra defenseman tonight. Fiala plays it back. Jonas Sigenthaler bounces that to center. And here come the Swiss as Meyer goes to the attack. Tried to go back door for Fiala. Here's Meyer again, and he sent that wide. At the line, kept in, and that shot blocked it. It'll be played back out to center. Here's McKinnon trying to get after it. Nathan McKinnon deep in the Swiss zone centers. And unable to get the shot away is Hagel. Fiala up ahead. Sigenthaler sends it around to the near side. Niederreiter waiting for it, but that was cut off by Taves. There's Devon Taves. McDavid across on the right side. Celebrini opened the scoring in the late stages of the first period last night. Tom Wilson and Taves, a shot that goes wide. Makar moves up. Knocked into the corner for McDavid. Makar fires that, and it ricochets into the corner. Morgan can't clear McDavid from the corner. Here's Connor McDavid. Watched by Morgan. Walks out in front. And checked at the last second as Moser sends it away. Makar for Celebrini. Offside called just past 4.5 minutes in.
Take a breath. You can see how fast and dangerous Switzerland can be off the rush. They get any sort of half step, they will challenge in even number situations at 2-on-2, but Myers got Fiala backdoor with McKinnon playing defense and just misses there. And then again, Timo Meier, who struck a couple times in the tournament, been all around the front of the net to begin.
Theodore sends it in. Schmidt will play it away from the on-rushing Seth Jarvis, who checks in, the late addition for Team Canada in the absence of Braden Point. And again, Anthony Cirelli, both named to this team, but unfortunately unable to compete here. So Jarvis out right now with Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart. Back pressure here on Kurashev. Tried to shoot it in, that was knocked down. Dean Kukon, former Columbus Blue Jacket, moves up. Kirchhoff along the boards, back to Kukon. And he banned on that, he could be in trouble. Ties up Bennett, first penalty coming up. And it's going against the Swiss defenseman.
Swiss bench doesn't like it at all. Sam Bennett and Kukon get into a stick battle for a puck right on the blue line, and it blocks the first one. And Kukon puts a stick in between the legs of Sam Bennett. And as you're crossing over, you got to go down, nowhere to go. So the power play goes to work. They struck late against Czechia. Nathan McKinnon on the back door from Connor McDavid.
1 for 2 in the opening game. Swiss able to kill 4 consecutive power plays for France. Crosby on the draw, wins it back, so they'll get it set up. Makar to McKinnon, back to Makar. McDavid's on the right flank, and it's a McKinnon shot, kicked away. Puck played to the line, but kept alive by Reinhart. Reinhart goes to the bumper spot, rink wide, McDavid scores! Power play goal, Connor McDavid. Canada strikes first.
Pick it up right where he left off game 1. Shooting mentality, had so many attempts in game 1 against Czechia. And this one, when Nathan McKinnon throws it over to him, He might be thinking Crosby back door, but elects to take it one handle and then catch Schmid, who reached initially with his glove to make a glove save. And then as he's trying to find the post, he goes, bounces off his hip and in. And it's not great movement from Akira Schmid. And Connor McDavid's got Canada off and running on the power play.
McDavid set up McKinnon's first Olympic goal. McKinnon returns the favor. That's a great cross-ice pass by McKinnon to set up the opener here for Team Canada. Mark Stone's got it, trying to slide it through for Crosby. That was intercepted, and out comes the Swiss. Here's Fiala challenging Travis Sanheim on the ice. A shot from the point, changed direction. It went wide off the stick of Christian Marty. Marty back at the line. Fiala lost the puck, turns it over. Sidney Crosby in. Crosby, and what a stop! Is that the Scorpion save for Schmid?
That looks Scorpion-like to me, CC. What a save!
So both good goaltenders have made early, spectacular stops. Feels like it could be quite a night. Here's Celebrini in. McDavid back on the ice. That one swung along by Glauser, out to center. Knocked back to the Swiss line by Taves. There's Sven Indragetto. Indragetto playing with Mulligan. They are a tandem that plays often and usually shines at the international level. And that pass puts the play offside. Well, some spectacular work on the power play, and Team Canada has the lead.
Sidney Crosby has learned in his Olympic experience, yes, you can have some tough outings early on in the tournament, but you've got to come in at a certain level that's high enough that you can build upon, because the level is only going to continue to go up for everybody the deeper the tournament goes on. They set a pretty high bar for themselves against Czechia yesterday, already a 1-goal lead, and if not for that Scorpion save from Schmid, it could have been 2-0 off the stick of the Canada captain, Chris.
Spectacular stuff to keep Sid off the board.
Sid went right to the iPad, was shaking his head the entire break, watching that one back. Can't believe Schmid found a way to get a piece of that backhand.
5-1 the shots early as that one fired in by Glauser. Theodore to Parayko up the boards, kept in, and now a lead feed for McKinnon. Looks rink wide, sliding down the ice, and that's an icing call from the Team Canada side of center.
Patrick Fisher's got his team in a very good spot internationally. They've been one of the best teams the last half-decade at the World Championship. You mentioned so many of the familiar names, even the ones who are not NHLers. They get virtually this entire team to play every World Championship together. Everyone who's not in the playoffs goes to play for Switzerland year after year, so there's great chemistry and continuity for the Swiss.
Dropped unfairly, they'll do it again. Patrick Fisher played a very short period of time with the Phoenix Coyotes. Among his teammates, Shane Doan, Owen Nolan, Ed Jovanovski, Jeremy Roenick, and the coach of that team, Wayne Gretzky.
He got there the year after I left. He just missed crossing paths.
That was a tough guy to replace. Here's a chance for Yossi, and Meyer looked for the rebound. Lost by Theodore, centered by Meyer, and Theodore there to come up with it once again. The former Fraser Valley Bruin sends it ahead to the Swiss line. And now back on the counter is Fiala. Cross ice pass knocked down by Suzuki. 8 minutes gone. As it's sent ahead to McKinnon. Down that left side, tried to get it to Bennett. A collision there, and the Swiss strike back. Bennett back to help out. Now Drew Doughty's got it. Doughty with Thomas Hartley, who led the blue line with over 20 minutes of action. 20-35 in the opening game. Niederreiter can't get it past Horvat. Makar at the line, it does stay in. Team Canada backs off on a change. Michael Fora idles. Now the puck played ahead. That was scooped from around the red line. They gave him that one in the area. No icing, and here's Marner turning out with Crosby on his left. Marner hits the line, gets it to the captain, who gets it back, and that was blocked by Siegenthaler with Stone loose in front of the net. Flip back in, and around it goes back to the line, where Kukon sends it around. Siegenthaler up, it bounced out in front. And here's Hugh Suter, and that puck off Turcoff and out.
Switzerland trying to find their game, get a little bit more possession. Canada's being very physical whenever they can get a hit on the defensive leg to join the rush. You know, Roman Jossi's going to be all over the offensive zone like he is with Nashville. He's got full green light to roam as he wishes. I would expect as long as this game stays tight, Roman Josi will play 25, 27 minutes.
MVP of the World Championship back in 2013. One of the 4 silvers this team's won of late. Meyer tried to get it to the net. Swiss player goes down. You hear the crowd react as Hischier hit the deck, and here comes Brandon Hagel with back pressure by Fiala. Hagel gets it loose. McKinnon tries to center. Parayko. Nathan McKinnon in front, and Schmidt with a big stop off Nick Suzuki. Suzuki's got it again, puts it to the net. Bump back off the blocker. Parayko can't handle the pass. McKinnon around to the far side. That's Suzuki covering the point. Across for Shea Theodore. Parayko swings it around. McKinnon lost possession of it. At the line, it does come out. So a delayed offside as McKinnon heads to the bench. Tom Wilson storms in. 8 hits in the opener for Wilson. That doesn't include the one that the team thought he'd registered early on. The Richter scale bumped by Connor McDavid, who's off and running here with Wilson on the right side. Back to McDavid. Calling for it is Harley. Scores! Led the team in time on ice last night and puts them ahead 2-0 here tonight.
The breakout and the pace of the ice from everybody on Canada causing problems. Harley, see the 2 Swiss back checkers behind him. What a nice touch by Tom Wilson to get the puck to who? Who else? Connor McDavid, who then throws one over softly for Harley to skate into, settles it, and puts it right through Schmid. For Canada's 2nd goal of the game, another point for Connor McDavid, and a 2-0 lead for Canada.
So that's 1 goal, 4 assists for McDavid.
Nice stick right off the face-off with Bo Horvat on Pia Suter. And
they'll check for damages.
They're hoping it's a 4.
5 points, 4 periods for number 97.
Suter's going to go show the damage to Ribbick. The ref, Dan O'Rourke, saying, I don't want to see it.
Ribbick checking it out. We'll find out if it's 2 or more, but it is 2-0. Team Canada.
Thinking. It's been a fast-paced start for Canada. Get the early power play, and Connor McDavid gets his first ever Olympic goal on a nice feed from Nathan McKinnon. And then a little bit later on, it's McDavid over to Harley to make it 2-0. And off the ensuing faceoff, Bo Horvat gets Pia Suter with a stick across the face. And Switzerland was not happy because they spent the entire break trying to argue that that should be a 4-minute double minor, as Suter was saying there was some blood in his mouth, but just the 2 on the board and a chance for Switzerland to get back in the game. They were 1 for 5 in a penalty-filled first game against France. We got a pretty good group of players to put out there.
Well, they've got the top line of Hischier, Fiala, Niederreiter, of course Roman Josi poised at the point, and Timo Meier will man a point. That banks off the skate of Suzuki and down the ice as he starts out on the kill.
Horvat in the box, one of their usual penalty killers, not available.
Hagel also out with Suzuki as it's played in and sent right back out by Makar. Out of this right wing for Meier, and now Josi will dump it in. A chance for Makar to move it around as Mark Stone coming on. Stone finds room and sends it the length of the ice. Canada 1 for 1 on the penalty kill in their first game. They've got the Golden Knight penalty killing tandem of Marner and Stone out there now. Here's Fiala. Niederreiter through. Fiala hit along the boards by Parayko. Comes back to Josi. But Meier might have had some room there to come out. It's Roman Josi firing it, and that hit a body and is fired down the ice off Mark Stone's partial shot block.
He comes to the bench with a smile after taking that one in the ankle. He is old school.
I hope somebody gives him a high five. Riyad out on the ice now. He scored in the first game against France. Kukan and Rigetto in front of the net. And Kurashev unable to get that back door. And Rigetto again. Had a 4-goal game in the World Championship a couple of years ago against Germany. That one off the post, scores! Power play goal, and the Swiss are on the board. So Pius Suter strikes on the power play.
He draws it by taking the stick up high on a face-off, and then he's there to clean up the mess as Andrighetto fires one in that Logan Thompson can't contain. And it goes off the cuff, and then the bar, and then Suter right there to get it as it falls to the ice to sweep it home. Huge goal for Switzerland, who haven't really been in this first period, but it's just now a 1-goal deficit.
Pius Suter was on the 2018 Olympic team for Switzerland, scored 3 goals in that tournament. Former member of the Guelph Storm gets Switzerland on the board.
David again got Glauser, who steamrolled him.
Glauser's got that reputation. Over on that far side, it's sent around behind the net. Travis Sanheim, up ahead Wilson. And that's cut off. Here comes Fiala in. Fiala and Thompson. That's a big stop after the Swiss had just scored.
Turnovers in the middle against Kevin Fiala are tough as Glauser is feeling the effects of Connor McDavid's collision.
Wow.
The puck's right there.
It's usually the other way around.
Right through the body. That's an NHL hit. You could argue interference, but that's the only thing you could argue.
So that's 2 for the highlight reel in 2 games for Connor McDavid.
That might be 2 more than I can remember of him with the Oilers.
Hagel up ahead. McKinnon trying to catch up to that. Knocked away by Marty. Schmidt out of the net. Again, a terrific atmosphere. This is the 3rd consecutive full house of the day. And the atmosphere's been spectacular all day long, starting with Finland and Sweden. And a memorable, at least 2nd period, between France and Czechia And those Czech fans had lots to cheer about.
John Cooper is usually pretty cool behind the bench, but demonstrative in this one. You can tell he's pretty engaged. Disappointed to give up the 2-0 lead when everything was going right for Canada. The power plays allowed Switzerland back in the game, and also for Switzerland to maybe just settle down a little bit.
Yes, Canada, it is possible to give up a goal at the Olympics that ends a shutout streak of 237 minutes and 1 second. The last goal scored against Canada was in the quarterfinal of Sochi in 2014 against Latvia. Makar with the drive, and that's vacuumed up by Schmid. They shut out Sweden, the United States first, and then Sweden, and then last night against Czechia. And finally, that shutout streak has been broken by Pius Suter.
Well, the game's changed a lot in 12 years, though. It'd be hard to be just a defensive juggernaut in today's game.
Crosby wins it cleanly. Fired across, Marner too hot for him to handle. And Draghetto, Niederreiter, and it's deep into Team Canada ice. Lost there. Thompson has to get on that quickly as Devon Taves fumbled the puck, and Suter almost had another. So the Swiss on the board and starting to push back.
Talking about how similar of a Swiss team they bring to the World Championships each and every year. Kevin Fiala was saying recently, we all know each other and we love each other. It's really like a family. Fiala, 7 times he's represented his country at the World Championships. First time in an Olympic Games for him. Short drive to Milan from Switzerland. A loud building in here in the Santa Giulia. They've got the support like it's a home game just down the road here in Italy, Chris.
It is tough to distinguish between the red jerseys of Switzerland and the red sweaters of Team Canada.
Not hard to distinguish between the sound, though, down here, Chris. It is very much a vocal pro-Switzerland crowd. $15,000 or 10,000 Swiss fans, but they all seem to know what songs to sing at the right time in unison.
Suter McKinnon on the face-off. Swept around and out to center off Hagel's stick. And as you mentioned before, Mike, it's a different environment here. We go down after the games, and in the concourse, all the Swiss fans or fans of the team that had just played are there with their players. You see Brad Marchand, Josh Morrissey, Darcy Kemper looking on.
Jordan Binnington actually up there. Darcy Kemper's beside me.
Binnington. Darcy Kemper sitting beside you, yes. And that'll be covered by Thompson.
Logan Thompson probably won't love the one that got past him, but generally speaking, Switzerland has generated some good chances. And Logan Thompson has been sharp in his first ever Olympic appearance. Binnington, of course, was brilliant against Czechia, especially early. And I still haven't seen him blink.
Yeah,
yet.
he got the stare down. Josie up high, swings it into the corner. Harley takes his man to the boards. McKinnon in to help battle for the puck, kicked loose. Oh, and that hopped over the stick in a pretty good position for J.J. Moser. Celebrini broken up, and here comes Draghetto. Former Montreal Canadian, Colorado Avalanche. Shot ricocheted high. Drew Doughty. Tom Wilson. Harley takes a look, and now Doughty will advance. Off the stick of Wilson, and McDavid charges in for Wilson's side of the net. And Schmid hugged the short side. Hit McDavid before he cleared the zone. Offside call.
Connor McDavid has got the turbo boosters on once again. As you see the vision getting over to Harley. And a great rotation. Head up the whole way, and Schmid opens up the legs, and through the 5-hole it goes. one. Almost a bit of a no-looker. He's got all the tricks of the trade, of course. The offensive juggernaut. So he wants to be against the best of the world. He wants to be the best in the world.
Leaving not much for debate. Down went Wilson in that puck battle. Scooped in by Kukon. McDavid reverses it. There was a big hit by Meyer.
You got a piece of McDavid there. Clean hit on the reverse.
At the line, held in, and a big hit on Reinhart.
Meyer
Timo
again.
Meyer.
2 in a shift.
Celebrini, Reinhart, Makar, and Bennett. Backhand stopped. And picked up by the New Jersey captain and captain of the Swiss team, Nico Hischier. Now Berchi sends it in. Back is Harley. And the Swiss starting to hit.
They have the pace to get to the puck quickly. You're not going to have much time when they dump it in before they get on top of you.
Fourth line out right now. Here is Jaeger over the line. Jaeger sends it wide. Around for Michael Forum. Swings that off target. Around for Yossi. Jaeger battling for the puck. Sandro Schmid is there. And the puck loose for Makar. Bennett ahead. Unable to make a connection with Seth Jarvis. Got play called. Do we have too many men?
That's an icing.
Icing?
Roman Yossi did not get the red line. Meyer returning the favor as he catches Connor McDavid in a rare moment of watching the puck. Referee right there not going to make the call, and then he turns around. Timo Meyer is a thick hockey player. Every bit 215 or so. A bit of a mean streak as well.
So the Swiss have settled into this a bit after a big Team Canada start. A 2-1 Canadian lead on goals by McDavid on the power play and Thomas Harley on a McDavid setup. And a response from Pius Suter. Whoa, Mitch Marner just trying to
put Sandro Schmid in the bench?
A Swiss player into the bench, yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Everybody's in on the act. In behind the net, they're trying to get it to Marner. Stone, Marner. Now Colton Parayko. Back around, Crosby. Great pivot in front. Back door off the side of the net. And Crosby again. That may have glanced off Andrighetto and went wide. A couple close calls. That's a high stick that Marner can't play. And it's whistled down with 1:59 to go. And a close call there.
Kira Schmid was, I think, facing the back boards when Sidney Crosby was taking that last shot. Watch play by Crosby here behind the net. Quick pivot, protect it, trying to find Mark Stone on the back door. But look at Schmid. He's looking the wrong way. As Crosby drops Moser. Good check by Pius Suter, tying up Mark Stone. And Sidney Crosby just could not catch that puck cleanly. Look out.
McKinnon pulls that back into the Swiss bench.
Into the crowd, he won that one so clean.
Nathan McKinnon just 14:44 in the first game, and he talked about having to adjust to, well, not the same ice time you're going to get in the regular season NHL games. Makar at the line, stole it, plays it back in. Eagle on the hunt. Gets a hit in on the play, and now out comes Siegenthaler. Dropping it off. Kurashev fired that wide, moving up his forehand, trying to get it to the net. Devon Taves, excuse me. Suzuki couldn't come up with it, and it's played back. And it's a glove stop by Thompson with traffic in front.
Canada has to understand that Switzerland is not going to leave the offensive blue line. So when you're making plays, you think you can just chip it or make a little bump play to get over the blue line. Swiss will not back up. They'll hang in there. And the turnover was the most recent opportunity by four a couple times, keeping the puck in and getting it down to the net.
Mike, a significant absence for the Swiss. Dennis Mulligan, who centers their second line, is off the Switzerland bench.
And you know, the cumulative effect, not just missing Mulligan, but he's so good with Andrighetto together. They can anchor a line as a duo and be dangerous.
When I asked Roman Josi, who are the clutch guys for Switzerland that we don't know about, that don't play in the NHL, and he immediately said, well, you know them. The guys that don't play in the NHL that really play the best for Switzerland are Mulligan and Andrighetto. That was Tom Wilson trying to line up a Richter scale hit, and that's an icing call against the Swiss.
See Nico Hischier, such a well-respected player. 27, feels like he's younger, although he's been around for a long time. And he is the disciplined, serious, sturdy leader of Switzerland. Roman Josi is the most explosive, he's the most steady.
Final minute, Team Canada scored in the final minute. Last night against the Czechs on that deft tip by Macklin Celebrini.
And the McKinnon out here.
And here is McKinnon taking the handoff from Celebrini. At the line, Harley, and it goes off Schmid to the corner. Trying to get it back is Celebrini. Off the boards to the line, and it bounced over the stick to Parayko. One last push here for Team Canada. Celebrini unable to hook that towards McDavid. Back the other way, it's Fiala at the line, and Harley slowed him up. Parayko missed it. Meyer with a wraparound try. That'll come to Siegenthaler off the skate to Meyer. Played back in by Moser. Kevin Fiala chased to the line by Parayko. McKinnon spins around Niederreiter. Does McDavid have time? As it winds down, he'll just steer it in, take one last bump from Fiala, and one done here on a Friday night. And once again, Connor McDavid putting his imprint on the game with a goal and an assist. Hugh Suter with the answer for the Swiss. Shots 13-10 Canada. James in the game coming up in our first intermission.
New colors for the Olympics, new masks for the goalies. Here's a look at the masks for both Canadian goalies dressed tonight. Logan Thompson's on the left, Darcy Kemper's on the right. They had them designed by the same artist, Dave Freed of Swan River, Manitoba. He said both goalies wanted some flavor of their hometowns in the background scenes. Calgary for Thompson, Saskatoon for Kemper. Also a nice touch on Kemper's mask, the presence of the loon. Reminder and representation of where they are from, and it has led them here, the Winter Olympics for Canada, Chris.
That's good stuff. And while we're on the topic of Manitoba, the two additions, Travis Sanheim from Elkhorn and Seth Jarvis in the lineup from Winnipeg. We start the second period. Connor McDavid out. Here's Makar. That one bounced off the stick. Excuse me, that's Crosby, not McDavid. I should know that. Was wondering if they were switching something up. And a loose puck from Marner. Had his pocket pick. Fiala away. Here comes Timo Meier. Hischier over the line. Trying to cut in against Makar. Turns back, Makar tracking him, broken up by Crosby. And it's Stone and Crosby redlining in. I wanted to make the point, though, for Connor McDavid, just over 5 minutes in the first period.
Not a lot. Seemed to do a lot in those 5 minutes, but it's just different when you're trying to rotate through all four lines. There's, power play on each side. You'd like to see him probably closer to 6.5 if you could.
5:07, McKinnon at 6:49, and McKinnon was on the low side in the opening game. Still early, not probably time yet to start loading up ice time for the big guys, and there's a tripping call coming up against Shea Theodore. So the Swiss with a power play goal, and they get their second chance with the man advantage.
Team Canada, player number 27, minor penalty for tripping.
Niederreiter slashing through, and it's similar. Get your stick caught between the feet as they cross over, they go down, and it's going to be a penalty. And here's Mitch Marner earlier, thought he had a steal here, but then went down, and it was a little stick between the legs from Fiala. A little, oh, hello. Wondering what he was grimacing about.
Suter on this draw, wins it back. Kukan, who had an assist on the power play goal. Kurashev's out there, second unit. And Canada up with the puck, and Hagel will send it the length of the ice. Towards Horvat, one of the key penalty killers for Team Canada, was in the box for that first Swiss power play goal. Here comes Andrighetto. Primary assist on the goal as he sends it around. Riat. Andrighetto. Suter. Kurashev's in front. That's Kukan. Rink wide. Riat right on. A rebound in front. Kurashev gathers that. Cycles it back. Suter to Riat. Riat shot, and he missed the target. Off the ledge and down for Andrighetto. A loose puck, and Hagel gets a stick on that. Bouncing at the line, kept alive. Riat, and he disrupted Kukan, and wanted to let it fly. There's a pass in front. Kurashev setting up Suter, looking for his second. And it's Kukan at the line. Played it back across. Riat didn't see it, and now hopping over the boards is Roman Josi. And that's poked away by Horvat. One change made as Hagel gets to the bench. Long change, second period. Fiala around. Meyer. Niederreiter in front. Couldn't convert. And out it comes for Marner. Fired in on Schmid. Timo Meyer starts back. Late stages of the power play. Josi dispatches it in. There's Drew Doughty. Far side race for it. Stone. Fiala got there first. Now Doughty around.
Got two here.
Onto the box.
Clean.
And Theodore missed the pass.
Oh boy,
It would have been a 2-on-1.
Too worried about getting off. He had a clean break.
Now McKinnon. Here's Thomas Harley. His goal, the difference now. Into the corner, Stone looks for it. Moser, a spin out for McKinnon. Moser ahead. Niederreiter inside the line. Heischer on that far side. Taken away, and here's McKinnon up there with McDavid after the penalty kill. And a pass for McDavid in front, and that bounced off a stick. McDavid's got it back again. Looking to center. That bounced back in the corner. Jet scores! Macklin Celebrini's got his second. And Team Canada restores a 2-goal lead.
It's after the penalty kill. John Cooper puts McKinnon out with Celebrini and McDavid. Loading up for a push post-kill. And David tries to find a couple people, eventually turns over, and the quick hands from McKinnon to knock it down and then pop it out to Celebrini, who's so good at finding space and releasing the puck. Niederreiter too deep, Andrighetto too deep, and a short side finish from Celebrini. 2 games, 2 goals for the teenager.
And that's really loading up when you can put 3 of the top 4 scorers in the NHL out together on the same line. 28 goals in the regular season for the amazing sophomore Celebrini, and now 2 in the Olympic Games. Nathan McKinnon will get the lone assist. Here comes Sam Bennett, unable to beat Siegenthaler. Shot by Doughty on. Doughty reloads, fires again. That knocked down in front. Kurashev ahead. Turkov, his pass. Good play by Bennett to intercept. Doughty back in his own zone. Veteran Doughty up off Reinhardt down the ice. Team Canada changing 5 minutes into the second period. 3-1 Team Canada. Just the one assist to McKinnon. Wasn't sure if McDavid was going to figure in on his 6th point.
That would have been a friendly second assist.
Yeah. Back in the old days, he might have got that.
Worse, but not here.
Flipped in by Theodore. Yossi skates away from him. Up ahead, Andrighetto. Again, without his regular sidekick. So Suter, Niederreiter, Andrighetto, the reshaped second line for Switzerland. Parayko over the line along with Marner. Marner sends it weak to the side of the net. Crosby looking to recover. Sidney Crosby, a couple of assists in this tournament already. It's Harley. And it's Sandheim going to the net, trying to roll it through. And a penalty coming up.
Stone got clipped up high with a high stick. They're checking him for damages.
So a goal by Celebrini after a successful penalty kill. And now that power play gets to go back to work.
It's going to be Michael Fora.
Team Switzerland, player number 45, minor penalty for high sticking.
Trying to get underneath the stick of Mark Stone, gets up into his face. So the power play, which struck quickly, was back to work after Macklin Celebrini restored the 2-goal advantage. There's the touch by Niederreiter off the initial McDavid pass, but McKinnon jumps all over it. And 3 guys who haven't been on the ice that much together in practice even, Chris, look pretty comfortable at 5-on-5 during the game.
Youngest NHLer in this tournament. There were concerns about taking guys too young, but that one's been thrown out the window. Face-off win. Cale Makar. Nathan McKinnon down low. They were looking for Makar. Reinhardt couldn't get it to him. And it will be fired down the ice by Birchie. Race for this, and Thompson
There you go,
alertly comes to play it. And that sends McDavid away. Centering pass broken up, and McDavid bounced into the boards. Makar midpoint. McKinnon downhill. McKinnon off the glove of Schmid. And the Swiss clear. Here's McDavid with another chance, and he missed the mark there. Makar wraps it around. Crosby's going to get there first. Looking for McDavid in the corner. He knocked down his man. Siegenthaler back to him. McDavid trying to lead the tournament in points and hits and shoots. And a rebound comes out front, and Schmid's away. Trying to play it past Makar, and Makar recovers. Now Suter along the boards. Reinhardt steps into that. Cale Makar looking up ice. Just over a half minute remaining in the power play. Crosby knocked down by Yossi. And here comes Nico Hischier, shorthanded. And Thompson with the stop. It's a flyby there by Hischier, and Thompson had to avoid the collision. Mark Stone, late stages of the power play with Marner and Horvat. Suter doesn't clear. Celebrini kept it in. And now it's out to center where Marner regroups. And that play offside. Stone hadn't cleared the zone. And the penalty over. So Team Canada celebrating a third goal. This one from the kid, Macklin Celebrini.
Professional athletes, not because he got to hang around the Golden State Warriors, but because he put in the work necessary to be great. Kevin mentioned working on tip drills with Joe Thornton in San Jose. You saw him there in development camp after he was drafted. Who could be thinking back then he would be in this spot 19 months later when the moment came yesterday, a tip in front. He was ready for it. There may be no greater equalizer of proper preparation than the Olympic stage, and another goal to follow up here tonight, Chris.
And part of that preparation, a World Championship appearance last year with some time with Sidney Crosby.
And I think that plays a big role in him being so comfortable this year. He's around McKinnon, Crosby, got their stamp of approval.
Eagle off the boards, went to the attack. Puck comes back to Theodore. Harley, Hagel, Suzuki. Wilson parked in front there. So Suzuki takes a turn at center with Wilson and Hagel. There's a different look.
That's in relation to McKinnon taking Wilson's spot on the first line for Celebrini and McDavid.
There's Rhea at the backhand that doesn't get to the net. Hagel up ahead. Harley, the man furthest up, trying to lead the rush, and he'll send it in and get to the bench. Out comes Horvat. Trying to get to it. Hagel was dumped by Yossi. Makar steps up. Play it toward the net. Siegenthaler there to collect it.
Look out.
Up ahead. Oh! Sam Bennett had Heischer lined up.
Yep.
And back the other way. Here comes Seth Jarvis. Something came on. Somebody threw something on the ice. There's a few things on the ice here. And I think we would have had a full-scale Donnybrook if it was the NHL on that Bennett run at Heischer. Stolen here. Over the line, Andrighetto, and Yossi steps up. Here's Roman Yossi centering it. Andrighetto a chance, and Logan Thompson has that.
Timo Meier trying to draw a penalty, thinking the refs are ripe with a quick whistle after the non-call on Heischer. Now, there should be no call on Meier, but there probably should have been one on Heischer. Bennett came off the bench, was going to line him up, and the stick right across the helmet, visor, chin. And that was a miss. And that
Referees conferring.
And that resulted in beers flying down, including one clipping me, CC. I got a beer in the head.
I saw some bottles flying.
That's a first.
You all right down there?
That's okay. A little beer never hurt anybody.
They did want you to wear a helmet.
Sign the waiver.
Well, it is heating up. Stone knocks down a pass at center. Tried to spring Marner. That doesn't work. Suter sends it in off Niederreiter. Didn't think there'd be hostility from Swiss fans. But it's heating up. Almost had a line brawl between Sweden and Finland earlier today. Here's Crosby. Marner. Crosby behind the net. That's cut off by Kukan. The captain got it back momentarily, but now Niederreiter out at center. Tried to one-hand it, but unable to get it past Harley. McDavid checks in. He might be loose. He's downhill to the net. And down is Schmid to make the stop on McDavid. So past the midway mark of the second period, Canada up by 2.
When Suter suiting up in international events. As recently as the World Championships last year, he had it on. iTech was phased out back in 2009, but he is sporting a different one for the first time here in Milan. Now, apparently, he started this week with one that had the bib attachment. That looks even a different one from that, so the adjustment continues anytime Crosby changes any piece of his equipment. It is noteworthy, Chris.
It is also a lot more of a safeguard than the one David Pastrnak was wearing earlier today.
You can see the brown shoulder pad looks pretty weathered as well.
Yes.
Nothing new about
that's been
that
around
piece
a
of
while.
gear. But if it's working for him, and it has for 20 years, why would you ever change? Including his very straight blade.
So we mentioned the Swiss down Dennis Mulligan, and Glauser, the defenseman, has not returned since the McDavid hit. That one knocked away by Turcoff. Harley dropping it off, a hit for McKinnon. Fired up to McDavid. Over the line it goes on the backhand. Harley, and Schmidt took a peek over his shoulder, but has it.
I heard Elliott talk about Thomas Harley in the first intermission. He has been, when you're down here at ice level, you see all the just simple plays, the puck movement, joining the rush, recognizing where's McDavid, clear the lane, fill the lane, just all very fundamental stuff, but it's just 60 minutes of good decisions and puck plays at this pace is impressive.
You know, we were in Dallas just before Christmas, and people around Dallas who obviously big fans of his said, you know, he might not be chosen. He's not been the same guy so far this year, but he certainly looks like the same guy and even better now. As they didn't make any changes on the back line. Here's a fan shot by Turcoff. And back the other way comes Team Canada. Hagel on the right wing. He got knocked down by Siegenthaler.
And it looks like the McKinnon to the wing is something that John Cooper's going to stick with for a little bit.
I'm trying to get 29 going. And a pass for Wilson on the right wing. Tied up. So it's a McDavid Draisaitl kind of thing, huh?
With Celebrini as the other guy?
It's pretty
That's
good.
all right.
Swiss almost, well, maybe not. I saw one of the Swiss jump into the bench, but only 4 skaters out.
And John Cooper was pretty pragmatic about the lines, and we've all dissected them to death. And he knew that it would be unlikely that they would finish the way they started. In fact, they haven't finished even 1 game or 2 the way that they started. But the good news is they have so many centermen that they can be versatile with who plays where. And so many great players that there's really no bad combinations.
Well, he mentioned prior to the tournament, the way they started at 4 Nations was not the way they finished. Crosby behind the net. Stone has it. Fires it back. Parayko, glove stop. Akira Schmid.
Sidney Crosby's been so good at pulling pucks off the wall. And it's a real art form. The pucks are coming around the boards, hard to get it off the dasher under possession. He does it nicely, then finds Parayko, put it in on Schmid. And their offensive zone faceoff is a chance to get David McKinnon. Also with a lefty-righty 2 centermen, you can have a strong side guy every draw, as McKinnon will take this one.
270 combined NHL points this year on this line. And a big shot by Parayko. Celebrini was ducking as the puck tried to cycle it to McDavid. Celebrini working along the boards and able to keep it alive in front of the net. And McDavid was watched there and actually dumped on the play by Christian Marty.
The referees are letting a lot of guys get away with a lot of stuff, both ways. Extra reaches, early hits, interferences, tugs, and McDavid had a step on Marty, and he looked like he sort of pushed down the back of the pants. after McKinnon fell awkwardly to the boards. And McKinnon is so hard on himself, he would think he probably is not doing enough, but he's got 3 points in 2 games.
Crosby won that cleanly. Fired around and Crosby looks for it. Marner gets on the puck. They have to back off as it's sent down into Team Canada territory. There's Doughty back to get it, and a collision there. Crashing in was Fiala. Michael Flora's shot goes high, laid down by Suter. Fiala behind the net. Suter with a shot. That ricochets to the far side. Stone swings it out to Crosby. Up ahead, Marner. Doughty jumping, but not able to catch up to it, so he just swats it in. Canada changing under 6.5 to go as Reinhart and Bennett check in. Along with Horvat, here's Turcotte. Trying to twist and turn, shot it wide. An outlet here, Reinhart can't reach it the first time. Turcotte in front, and a pad stop by Thompson. Bennett up with the puck. At center, Kurashev intercepts. Here's Kurashev now with San Jose, where he's a plus player after being a huge minus in his seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks. Minus 126 there. He's plus 3 in San Jose. Bennett takes a bump, gets it inside the line. Siegenthaler. Turcotte off the boards, and Theodore pounces on that. Back around, Theodore able to seal the wall, and that actually bounces up and over after that collision with Christoph Berchi. So the Team Canada contingent likes what they've seen so far tonight. Hockey tomorrow, Kenzie and Cheryl will have it for you. Canada against Germany at 10:40 Eastern. And also coming up in our second intermission, we'll have the panel, but also Ilya Molina, the Quad God, will be on CBC during the second intermission. 5:21 away. Nick Suzuki at center, wins the face-off. Flanked by Hagel and Wilson. I guess they figured there was enough hitting with McDavid on that top line. Spread out the physicality. Timo Meier has to go back to get it. Shots of 22-15 in favor of Team Canada. Bumped ahead to Hagel. Rink wide it goes, Wilson. Offside called. Yossi hit Wilson at the echo of the whistle, and that'll draw a crowd.
You can almost see Wilson not wanting to escalate into his reputation. In a different league, in a different moment, that would have gone differently after the whistle. And he sort of had a reaction, said, I don't like it, but I'm going to skate away and make sure not to take any penalties. So there's the bump after the whistle and the finish. And he's thinking, I want to, and I'm not going to.
Skate away, but filed away. And here's this new line. David 96 points. McKinnon 93 points. Celebrini 81 points. And an elbowing call coming up. And now that big line will have a man advantage as Niederreiter gets the gate.
Swiss minor penalty, 22, elbowing.
Travis Sanheim working the jaw out on the bench as Niederreiter picks up the elbowing penalty. That's an elbow. But when you let so much stuff go for so long, whoever gets caught first is never going to be happy. Pia Suter's got to come off. He's got a bad skate, so their preferred penalty killer won't start the kill.
Heischer not a bad replacement at the time.
Yep.
Being
a real opportunity here, though, for Canada on the power play. If they get one more right here, stretch it out to 3.
1 for 2 so far. Crosby, Reinhardt, McKinnon, McDavid, and Makar. Here's McKinnon, McDavid. Makar shooting, and he just missed. Roman Josi around, and McDavid's there. Crosby from the corner. Here's McDavid. Crosby's moved up top. Makar takes a look. Back to McDavid. Crosby to the side of the net. Down low. There's that back pass. They tried what was the first goal of the Four Nations on a sensational power play setup from Crosby. McDavid on it. In behind is Reinhardt. McKinnon off the half boards. Hands it back to McDavid. Crosby. Makar back to the captain. Cale Makar. And a close stop by Schmid.
Saved by Schmid. A heavy shot from Cale Makar. But nobody in front on a screen. Everyone was working around the edges, so Schmid had a clean look at it. Yeah, leans on this one is apparently Nico Hischier was also watching the Four Nations, because that is exactly what happened on the first goal, except there was no forward back there to intercept the pass.
There's another face-off win. It's Theodore. That bumped into the slot. Back for Marner. Horvat in the bumper. There's Mark Stone chopping it back to Marner. Theodore, Celebrini, right on.
Celebrini looking to shoot. I have a little conversation with Mark Stone as to, if I get that onto the pad, where are you going to be? A slow pass like that, a little too methodical to catch Schmid. He's there in plenty of time.
37 seconds remaining in the power play. Just over 3 minutes in the second period. Stone fires it across. Oh, short side.
That caught the post.
That looked like it was in from our angle, but he did ring it up. Celebrini had a little space there. Here comes Marner. Last foray. Marner in front, and Celebrini just missed tapping that home. Theodore. Marner. Off the stick of Celebrini. It doesn't get the Stone. Back on the ice is Niederreiter. But the pressure continues. Devon Taves sends that toward the net. And the Swiss fire it down. Niederreiter did get a stick on it, so no icing. Quickly to Makar. Up ahead it goes Suzuki. Siegenthaler. And Drew Doughty back in his own zone. Around for Hagel. Rolled that out to center. And Draghetto back to get it. 2 minutes left in the period. And it remains a 2-goal Team Canada lead. Hischier's pass got disrupted. Wilson on it. Tom Wilson got it outside the line. Played right back in. Doughty. And Suzuki can't get it deep against Josi. Here's Meyer in. Cross to the far side. Hugh Suter plays it around. Harley's pass cut by Suter, but now Hagel rink wide. There's Seth Jarvis. Sending that in as Team Canada changes. Bennett comes out. And now over the boards, Reinhardt. Sam Bennett. Jarvis. Reinhardt chasing after it on the far side. Theodore Parayko. His shot. A rebound backhand by Jarvis. Doesn't get to the net. So into the final minute now. Theodore up for Bennett. Cleared by Suter. 2-on-1. Kurashev. Riyad. And a glove stop by Logan Thompson.
That's a big save for Thompson. Bad turnover at the offensive blue line by Bennett. And the quick transition 2-on-1 for Switzerland. Almost found it. Here's the other chance for Celebrini. That is short side. And something ring off the post. Kurashev jumps on this loose puck. He's gonna go a little drag, and even with Thompson moving laterally, he's able to get his glove up by his ear. Huge save.
Top 10 in goals against average and save percentage so far this year, Logan Thompson. 7th and 8th, respectively, in those departments. 44.2 to go. McKinnon wins the faceoff. That big line loaded up. Back out for one more shift in the second. But the Swiss have the puck in Team Canada territory. Riyad behind the net, centers, and Kurashev just missed. Look at a dust up behind the net. That's Makar and Turkov finally unpiling as it comes free with 10 seconds to go. McDavid will just flip it in. And the clock likely draining here. And we're through 2. Shots 14-6 in favor of Canada. In the second period, Suter and Celebrini, the goal scorers. Teams in the panel coming up. Also, Ilya Malinin, the quad god on CBC. All of it in our second intermission.
Delivery of the game presented by Instacart, the winning way to get groceries delivered. John Cooper was ready for the question shortly after touching down here in Italy about the goaltending. He made a passionate defense of all three guys, not just Jordan Binnington. Logan Thompson, well aware of the discourse that's been out there. Maybe not under as much scrutiny going in as a guy like Binnington, but as he said, he knew all the talk about that the weakest part of Canada was the goaltending. He got the nod tonight. He has delivered through 2 periods here, only had to make 15 saves, but he in part why Canada takes a 2-goal lead into the third against the Swiss, Chris.
I think he might have borrowed one of Jordan Binnington's quote prior to the tournament, said that he was excited to prove everybody wrong. And he has been good. Shots 27-16 for Team Canada. Ice time interesting through 40 minutes. Roman Josi topped in the game 17-14, Makar 16-56. Mark Stone, the top forward for Team Canada, 12-47. Connor McDavid 10-16. And Jonas Siegenthaler played over 10.5 minutes alone in the second period with Andreas Glauser out, and we remind you that Dennis Mulligan left the game in the first. And it is McDavid, McKinnon, and Celebrini on the ice. Swiss fans trying to prop their team here in the third. Out of that scrum, Kukan across. There's the busy Siegenthaler, sending it wide. Around for Niederreiter. Back into the corner goes Suter, the goal scorer for Switzerland. Canada with 6 different players with 3 shots apiece. Celebrini's one of them as he charges down, and Siegenthaler gets back in a hurry. Just plays it back to the Team Canada line. Celebrini sends it in. Schmidt to stop that, 90 seconds into the third. Theodore knocks down that puck. Reinhardt takes a spill. And bounce back towards Logan Thompson. Set Jarvis on the scene. Parayko to the near side. Theodore. That went off Riat and it bounced out when it looked like it might be a dangerous puck. Theodore for Parayko. Bennett chops it out. On the move is Jarvis. Here's Seth Jarvis in. And Schmid with the stop. What a burst from Jarvis.
I think both Swiss defenders surprised at the pace that Jarvis turned the corner with. And they're both thinking, oh, we got this under control. You got him, I got him. Neither one of them, Bertie's not catching him. Marty lets him go. And Schmid makes a nice save as Jarvis trying to slip that 1-5 hole. Here's Schmid.
Jarvis 6 shifts, 4 minutes, 12 seconds through the first 2 periods.
That kind of speed's going to get him back out there a bit more often.
Face-off won by Suzuki. There's Taves trying to get it to the net. Blocked by Yossi. Dumped out by Berchi. And there's Makar. Wilson redirects that towards Hagel, knocked off his stick. And Schmidt's pass intercepted by Makar. Hagel dumps it in. Wilson gets a piece of Yossi. That theme might continue here in the third.
I mean, be careful when you make that hit. Yossi wants you to try to hit him. He'll spin off and then beat you back up the ice. Be mindful not to overcommit down deep if you're less, knowing that the Swiss defenders will release and try to join.
You're saying he's got to finish that check like McDavid.
If you're going to knock him down, knock him over.
Crosby on the draw. That one won by Yeager. Fourth line shift for, well, they change. Get a different matchup with Yossi sending it in. Hischier on the ice. Hischier to the net. Trying to jam it short side. Mark Stone there. Up ahead. And Crosby take that pass from behind him. Play it in. Get it to Marner. Tried to swing away from Fiala. Back to Crosby. And here's Doughty shooting, and that blocked. Nico Hischier, who's been a Selke Trophy finalist, able to block the shooting lane on Doughty. Marner taps it to Crosby. 2-on-2, and Crosby fires it right on. Siegenthaler. Marner leans on him. Theodore ahead. Trying to bust in as McKinnon played it back, and that got by Sandheim. McKinnon, McDavid. There's McDavid cutting in, and that one knocked away from the front of the net. McKinnon, Sandheim played the ricochet and was looking for McDavid, and Siegenthaler was there defensively. Right back in. Here's McKinnon trying to shift gears on Bora.
Back check.
Runs over his man, and here is Celebrini dropping it off. It's Taves, and he missed. Stick side. Back the other way, it's Suter playing it across, looking for Kurashev. Riad out there on this line as he moves up. And it's Roman Yossi with a shot. Oh, the big collision there, and Celebrini got the worst of it. Now it's Makar taking off. Makar from a sharp angle. That one pulled down, and a hit by Reinhardt. Bennett to Reinhardt. His shot is stopped by Schmid. Got his own rebound. At the line, Harley across. Doughty sends it to the side of the net. Moser was there. Moser has had a tremendous season for John Cooper in Tampa Bay. second in plus minus to only Nathan McKinnon. At the line, Fiala. It'll come across. Kukan shot. I think that took a bite out of Harley, and he's in some distress.
Right up by his shoulder areas. Chin strap came undone because of it.
He's on the near side, staying out there with that chin strap hanging. Dowdy for Harley. Tom Wilson had it skipped by him, but Horvat's on the move. And Draghetto back. Kukan ahead. Suter. And there's Andrighetto flying in. Shot blocked by Theodore. Suter trying to get it back. Checked by Hagel. Brandon Hagel redlining in. Schmidt can't knock that down. There's Michael Fora. Tom Wilson gets on that. Tied up by Niederreiter. Suter's out. Jumping is Fora with Niederreiter. And Niederreiter off the bar. Niederreiter across, and Fora stopped. And we've got a pile up. Wilson knocked out in the goal crease by Niederreiter. Wilson without a helmet would like to get at Niederreiter, but has to get off. A wild sequence there. And Tom Wilson in the midst of it.
Wilson not happy after that scrum where Niederreiter dislodged his helmet. We just talked about not getting beat up the ice. And certainly get a couple of good opportunities. Nice skates by Mark Stone to take it away from Nico Hischier. Take a hit to make a play on the boards. You hear it since you're 6 years old. Well, really doing just that.
So the Swiss not going quietly into the night. Here is Stone. Crosby sends that in behind the net, looking for Marner. Devon Taves. The centering pass. Ricochets back to Taves. Now Stone cycles it into the corner for Crosby. Taves fires it across. McCarr. Marner down low, scores. What a beautiful pass. And Sidney Crosby with the finish.
Oh, that's pretty to watch. That is world-class puck movement from all involved. Ending up with Sidney Crosby. Poking it home, mom and dad approve. And the slap pass from Taves to McCarr was nice, but then Marner releases, and I had a perfect angle of, he's looking for Crosby right through the wickets of Roman Josi onto the tape of Sidney Crosby. Here's the look. That is threading the needle. Mark Stone occupying Moser. And just like that, 4-1.
That's the 6th Olympic goal for Sidney Crosby. It's a 4-1 Team Canada lead. 7:28 here in the third. Marner with a beautiful primary, and here comes McDavid. Connor McDavid stops up, and that shot whipped wide by Sanheim. McCarr also draws an assist on the goal. As Canada establishes a 4-1 lead. Sanheim up, Celebrini tried to get it to McKinnon on the move. Off the bench, that deflects onto a Swiss stick. Jaeger tracking Harley back. There's Seth Jarvis out again. After that last dash that created a Team Canada scoring chance. Thomas Harley missed Bennett with that, and Jarvis gonna beat out the icing. Good hustle. And that gets by Reinhart, kept in by Theodore. Bennett sidesteps a hit. Looking for Jarvis. Along the boards, Jarvis tries to tie up his man. It does come out. Birchie there, bumped by Reinhart. Sticks around your ear, Mike, but you survived to fight another battle.
I'm not supposed to grab them, but, you know, self-preservation kicks in every now and then.
Here's Hagel sending it across. Wilson was at the back door, but tied up. A pass for Wilson. Suzuki can't work his way in, and it's flipped back into Team Canada territory. Approaching the mark of the third. It's a big goal by Sidney Crosby to create a little bit more cushion. Puck kept in at the line momentarily, and now Suzuki make sure it gets out. Moser back, and now Wilson will retreat to complete the change. Crosby's back out there with Marner and Stone. Fired in on Thompson. There's a shot that Thompson had to be sharp on. And he covers up. So a 4-1 lead as Crosby gets the stick on a beautiful feed from Marner.
Adam Crespi of Ottawa, who's shooting me across the way here. I don't know how tight you can get in here, Adam, but was just busy trading pins with Anna Jean of Ottawa there. So the Canadian spirit is alive and well here in Italy, and just under 10 minutes away from Canada potentially trading in another regulation win from securing top spot in Group A, Chris.
And trying to establish the top seed overall. Looks like that will be contested between Team Canada and the United States. 2-point players tonight. McDavid has 2, McKinnon 2 assists, Picard 2 assists. Kukan and Sigenthaler. Shot got through, and Thompson will absorb that.
Good job by Parayko and Theodore in front of the net. Players all around Logan Thompson, but no one right in front of him. So he could see it and hold it. Hasn't been super busy, but he's been sharp.
Well, this was back-to-back, so it was likely we wouldn't see Jordan Binnington. Binnington perfect in the opener. Thompson has been impressive too. And you wonder if it's going to be a collaboration as this goes on for at least the next few games.
And this has been a good test for Canada. Team with this kind of pace, different kind of team. Now a bit of a miscommunication, a little shove. Turcoff's been a physical player in this game.
Former Kelowna Rocket, played for Don Hay, a couple of seasons there. Goaltender at that time was Connor Ingram. At the line, Heecher works down. Roll towards Thompson. Sends it to McDavid. He'll shovel it away. Celebrini trying to catch up, and Moser gets back in a hurry. Celebrini knocks down Moser. Penalty pending. Swiss are going to get a power play as the 19-year-old is sent to the penalty box.
And it wasn't on the initial hit. As Celebrini was falling, he got his stick laid out into Moser's feet. So that's all fine there, but here is where the trip occurs. It's one you were going to call. Kevin Fiala had already called it on the ice, and so Switzerland, who's got their only goal in the night on the power play, trail by 3, almost have to get one here.
Heecher on the draw. Niederreiter's out there. Fiala, Yossi, and Meyer. But Team Canada controls the draw, and Brandon Hagel turns them back. So Horvat and Hagel, Makar and Taves. Here's Heecher. Working in through to Fiala. It's a long-time Swiss combination internationally. Heecher and Fiala. Meyer to Heecher. Back to Meyer. Roman Yossi. And Thompson the stop. Rebound. Thompson the stop. Another save. Off Meyer. 3 in a row for Logan Thompson. Back in comes Yossi. That's skipped on Meyer. It's a break. It's Mark Stone in alone. And the save made by Schmidt. Now fed ahead and Heischer back in. Heischer pinched off along the boards by Harley. Marner crashing in to work the puck loose. And Doughty will flip it away. 45 seconds remaining in the power play for Switzerland. Marner got down first. He avoids a big hit along the end boards from Meyer. There's Riyad working in. And Riyad a power play goal in the opener against France. The centering pass for Kurashev. And Draghetto gets it back. An assist on the Swiss goal. Kurashev for Andrighetto. Kukan up top. Kukan and Draghetto stepped into that. And that's blocked by Zanheim. Andrighetto once again. Kukan shooting that wide. And the penalty done. Celebrini back on the ice. That fired around and ricochets back into Swiss ice with Celebrini in pursuit of the puck. He knocked it loose, and McDavid to the net, a backhand, a rebound, and Nathan MacKinnon scores. Number 5 for Canada.
Guess this line might be staying together for a minute. And this is just offensive players with great habits. Celebrini out of the penalty box, and MacKinnon and McDavid out of the player's box, exploding on the ice. Celebrini causes the turnover with his pursuit. And McDavid, how about this drag inside Siegenthaler, takes everyone with them. And then Nathan MacKinnon able to clean up. But that is a dirty pull from Connor McDavid. And Nathan MacKinnon tucks the rebound home.
Boy, that's great hustle by Celebrini to make it, well, get it started anyway.
But if McDavid and MacKinnon don't explode out of the box as well, there's no one there to support Celebrini when he turns it over.
I think John Cooper's found something, Mike.
I mean, it's the best laid plans, right? Who would have thought Nathan MacKinnon would be on the wing with Connor McDavid, but John Cooper not bound by any sort of preconceived plan. He will adapt to what is happening in front of him. And no egos about who needs to play where or with who. Just whatever's going to work.
It's worked before. You just send out 97 and 29. And both have 3 points in the game. McDavid 6 points, the most in a team's first 2 games of the Olympics. Nathan MacKinnon with goals in back-to-back games.
Nathan MacKinnon is legendary for his intensity. And he had this quote earlier which kind of stood out. I'm not here to enjoy myself. I'm here to win a gold. In reference to seeing other events and meeting other athletes. And what's enjoyable to him? Playing hard, playing well, being productive, and winning. That's where his focus is at, not on the entire experience of staying in the athletes' village. And maybe now with Connor McDavid in the middle, Malcolm Celebrini on the other wing, he is actually enjoying himself in this game. And why wouldn't you? The way those three have come together in the last 2 periods.
Accomplish what you come here to do, and you can enjoy it for the rest of your life. And both McDavid and MacKinnon, as John Cooper has described, laser focused. Both with 3 points in the game. McDavid up to 6 in the tournament. 5-1 on 35 shots against 24 for Switzerland. 5-0 against Czechia. And on their way to a 12th consecutive Olympic tournament win involving NHL players. Fiala. That's +9.
With a game against France still to come.
People will be tracking.
But that might be the most impressive thing. Not just the 2 wins, but these are 2 very good teams they played against. Switzerland is a legitimate medal contender in this tournament.
As we mentioned, they left it up. Whoa, look out. That puck deflecting off Fiala and screaming into the Team Canada bench. So we'll take a timeout under 5.5 to go. Canadian fans loving this. Final action on the women's side tomorrow. There are the start times as Team Canada plays Germany, and then on Sunday, wrap up Group A action, Canada against France, where goal differential will be probably the only thing on the mind of John Cooper. He'll get a chance, perhaps, Mike, to get a little bit more ice time for some of the guys that haven't had a regular turn yet.
I think it'll just be the challenge to play the same way.
Okay. Not like he's overtaxed anybody yet.
Trust me, every one of these players would like to play 6 more minutes. That's what they're used to.
As Nate McKinnon said, you just got to make the most of the time you get. He's done that tonight. Marner's in. Centering pass for Crosby, just out of his reach. Niederreiter ahead. And it's Roman Josi breaking out to the backhand that just missed. Niederreiter behind the net. It comes to Suter. Hit the back of the net to Andrighetto. Josi. Puck stopped and Marner with the alley-oop. Pretty good backspin on that one. Well, McDavid back out. They have any other magic for us in the final 4.5. He's got the puck. Riyad takes him to the boards. McKinnon feeds back. Here comes the shot. Off Schmid. McDavid battles for the rebound. Back to the line to Theodore. Sanheim works his way in deeper. Taken off his stick by Kurashev. Turkov. And now the Swiss regroup as Team Canada changes. Under 4 left. Just listening to the quiet here, because it's been loud, especially first period and prior to the game. The Swiss fans have been silenced here by another near perfect performance. Hagel on the forecheck comes up with the puck. Brandon Hagel with Suzuki and Wilson. Will this line stay together for the next game against France?
You'd think Brad Marchand will be back in the lineup though, right? If he's just getting a break. More so than injury. Did Kevin Fiala just hurt his knee? He just went writhing in pain.
It's trouble.
Oh no.
You hate to see that.
Him and Tom Wilson got tangled up and Wilson fell onto his legs. And he was...
And they're calling for the athletic therapist.
According to his left knee, he's asking for the stretcher. Oh no.
And this is one of the fears when you allow NHL players to come here for a couple of weeks to represent their country. And then, as John Tavares suffered a serious injury in Sochi, and now a stretcher coming out for Kevin Fiala.
Sort of leaving his left leg hanging down. Hasn't really moved it. You got the Team Canada guys watching the replay on the bench right beside me.
You saw Drew Doughty, a teammate of
Fiala's. We haven't seen it, but I just saw the reactions of Team Canada to watching the video, and it's one of those ones I'm not sure we want to see it.
Well, we're not diagnosing this, but he did suffer a broken leg in the playoffs back in 2017.
Just based on the reaction that the Team Canada players had to seeing it, feels like it's a pretty serious situation. He can't even roll over onto his back. He wants to try to go on the stretcher on his stomach. Oh, man. It's tough to watch for Switzerland, their teammate. It was Kevin Fiala said, we're like a family. We've been together for so long. And to see one of their teammates, their friends, their family members down in this kind of pain and potentially a serious injury.
Let's get a look at exactly what happened.
They just got tangled up. There's nothing malicious.
No, not at all
about it.
Just a unfortunate landing with.
He lands on his lower left leg. Just an awkward collision. No malice whatsoever.
And you can see the emotion from Timo Meier, but you can see it in the faces of the Team Canada players too.
Yeah.
And everybody rising to their feet.
Team Canada guys want to go over and check in on when he's on his way off the ice. The whole bench is going to clear for Team Canada.
Well, that's an impressive gesture, both teams coming out. And when Kevin Fiala's on his game, he is an exciting player to watch. And this is very disappointing to watch. A world champion MVP in 24. And sadly, his Olympics are over.
It's almost a good thing there's only a couple minutes left in this game.
I was just thinking 2:50 left.
I don't think either team is too interested in playing anymore.
We'll play straight time from here on out.
The result of this game decided. Just want to get this one over with. And Tom Wilson was involved, but it's got nothing to do with Tom Wilson.
No.
They just got tangled up.
So we'll play it out here. Jarvis deflects that up into the Swiss bench. But it's been a terrible game for the Swiss in the injury department. They've lost Glauser, Mulligan. We don't know the severity of those injuries, but we can be pretty certain about the severity of Kevin Fiala's. Centering pass for Bennett, and the backhand right on. Bennett on it again, and that whip wide as Jarvis let it go. So Jarvis has given them something to think about. Another chance for 24. Parayko back to Bennett. Centered off the stick of Jarvis and out. For guys like Jarvis, Mike, all you can control is your next shift. And
he's had some good ones in the third period.
Final 2 minutes. Reinhardt taken down, got that into the corner. Suzuki for Hagel. There's a hit on Reinhardt, who takes Wilson's spot here.
Smartly. John Cooper aware. I don't think he's going to do anything to Tom Wilson, but just don't give anyone a reason to do anything.
It's a centering pass. It ends up on Turkov's stick. That hit a leg and ends up in the corner. Moser put it in front. Hagel starts back. And Suzuki turns back. Likely his final shift of the night. 70 seconds to go. Well, the injury has tempered the enthusiasm, but it has been a very thorough Team Canada performance. Horvat cut off by Yossi. Centered, and Bennett shot right on with traffic in front as Jarvis was on the doorstep. Shots now 38-25. Jarvis across to Bennett. Team Canada's going to win Group A. They're 2-0. They've won 12 consecutive games as they post a 5-1 win over the Swiss, backstopped by Logan Thompson, who makes 24 stops in the victory. Well, another outstanding performance. Connor McDavid pacing the team with a goal and 2 assists, 3 points for him. 1, 2, 3 for McKinnon. And 2 points for Macklin Celebrini. Is there a new top line on Team Canada? 5-1 the final. Let's join James Duthie.
Chris, thank you. Kevin Bieksa, Cassie Campbell, Pascal, Cheryl Pounder, Elliot